Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, actually I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm just gonna go through and show you guys a couple different ways that you can utilize this three stack box layout. So this is the layout for both like Happy Planner and Erin Condren, which is what I utilize for all of my Plan With Me videos for this year. So with the Erin Condren planner, you've got these headers, and then the boxes are stacked and then rounded in the corners. For Happy Planner, if I'm not mistaken, they are like this, where they have the sharp corners and they are close together, and they don't have like the headers or the section at the bottom. But I did purchase this template off of an Etsy store just because I didn't want to utilize the planner that I'm using for my Plan With Me, is because then I would have to take a week out and not do that week for you guys. So I'm just going to walk through and show you guys kind of what I do, but then also what you can do. And just always keep in mind that these spreads that come printed in a planner can always be customized in some way, shape, or form. Some people may not want to add these extra lines. You may not even need to add them. Just consciously divide the box however you need it. Now, the layout that's going to work best for you is always going to be determined by what it is you want to use your planner for. So for somebody who is going to want to do some journaling in their planner, that's going to look very different than someone who is utilizing it for like goal tracking and like day-to-day like to-do lists and things like that. So keep that in mind. I did try to kind of research and to give you guys as much variety as possible, but I will go ahead and get started. I did pick a little sidebar sticker just because I didn't want this to look super empty. So I'm just gonna throw that on here for some color. And typically, depending on, again, on the planner style that you are utilizing, the amount of space that you have to use, and what all your planner includes, i.e. if, so this is like a weekly spread. If your planner has a page for like notes before or after every week, then you would be able to utilize that space for journaling if you wanted to. You wouldn't necessarily have to do it on the weekly spread. But again, some people want to do it on the weekly spread, just like take some space and jot down their thoughts for the day if that was an eventful day, or just kind of a recap every day. So the first day, and each of the days on here, I will do a different spread or a different layout version. So this first version of the spread is going to be work, personal, and to-do. So each box will be a separate category. So what I would do, if that's the layout that I was going to utilize, each of the boxes would have kind of like a header, just because that helps my brain differentiate. Okay, so up first, and mind you, this is printed on like standard printing paper, so the stickers will not fit perfectly, but they will work for the purposes of showing you guys some of these layouts. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm going to kind of put in the headers there. As I go through and I plan, usually what I will do is I like to compartmentalize certain things. So if I have a lot going on work-wise, then I will separate those out. Typically though, I have a completely separate like digital calendar that I use specifically for work, just because I have meetings that change at the drop of a hat, sometimes multiple times a day. So it's not feasible for me to write those things down and then have them need to be moved. Now, again. I'm adding some additional stickers here just to show you how I would utilize this space. So for under the work category, of course, I would add my work schedule, any projects that I'm focused on, any important meetings that are happening, things like that, just so that it's all there, ready to go, kind of at a glance. Because for me, the easier it is for me to look at something, the more likely I am to use it. Now, I'm not going to fill in everything, each of the stickers. I just want you to see what these would look like. So for personal, I added a doctor's appointment sticker and then also this field trip sticker because those are the type of things that I would put under that personal category. So typically in my planner, I kind of keep like my day schedule. I think it's going to look more similar to like this here, sort of. Probably more like a divided box here, a solid box here, and then a divided box down here. And then the way that I work it is this is my today box, and my planner that I use day in and day out is lined. So I will write like this is all my today items. So these are what bills are due. These are what events and activities we have that day, reminders, etc. Important items all go in that box. And then down here would be my to-do list. I think I have like a list of like 10 for each day. And then down here, one will be, oh, I lie. There's 3 boxes. Okay, yeah, I remember. My brain hurts. Okay, so up here would again be my day. Then I would have my to-do list, which would have about 10 line items. And then I would have a section for my workouts, a section for my reading, because for each day for reading, I do try to track the title and author, the number of pages read, and the amount of time that I spent reading. And then the last box is for my monthly challenges that I've been doing this year, which unfortunately I'm a little off. But anywho, so that's kind of how I lay out my day-to-day as it is now in the planner that I'm using now. I'm currently debating on if I want to use that planner again next year or if I want to find a different planner. Okay, now down here at the very bottom, this is going to be my to-do list section. It did not make a title for this one, but I have these 2 boxes that I thought would fit nicely. So I've got a work to do and a home to do. And I'm going to put the home to do at the very, very bottom. That will work. Oh, that's why I didn't do it, because it didn't need it. Because when you stack these on top of each other, they fit perfectly. So again, so that's kind of what I would do if that's how I was dividing these boxes out. Now, the next idea is kind of similar, but this would be for somebody who is like in school. So you would have, I would make the first box, I would mark it with a header of school. There we go. Okay, so then, of course, you'd be able to then put down like what classes you have for that day, what assignments that you have that are due, and things like that. And this is going to go over a little bit. Okay, so that works. That's sufficient. And then beyond that, I think what I would do is at the very bottom, you could also have like a motivation or an inspiration box. So for that, I would put, I'm just going to put a quote. But you could put quotes in there. You could even write like gratitude. You could, anything that brings you a sense of motivation, a sense of inspiration to keep you going through the rest of your week, would be something good if that's the type of layout you need. For me, I need my planner to be functional and pretty. So if there's like a lot of scribbling out or like white out, that type of stuff, just it it gives me anxiety, I guess. I don't know. I don't like looking at it. So then I tend to not look at it. And then I would also probably, for this one, do another to-do list section, because being in school, you would more than likely have a ton of stuff to do. But you could also make this section anything from personal to fun stuff to any number of things, self-care even. So like I said in the beginning, a lot of the way that you plan or the layouts that are going to work for you are going to stem from what it is you are trying to achieve or what your focuses are. For example, if you are a working mom who has 2 kids who are very involved in sports, you may want to have a separate kids section to keep track of all of their play dates, their practices, their games, all of those things, so that it's in one central location. I know sometimes for me, even the way that I plan can overwhelm me sometimes. For example, I have a family of 4. So if each of those 4 people are doing something different that day, and I'm writing each of those things down on my today list, then that can seem overwhelming and kind of just throw me a little bit. So it all depends. I try not to have too much going on at one time. Now, this third day is almost like an hourly layout. Now, they do have these stickers that you could just easily throw right in here. So this one says busy morning, but they also have like ones that don't say like busy. They just state morning, and then they have the hourly. And then I've got an afternoon one and an evening. So the thing that I think is cool about these and having this hourly layout is that it gives you the ability to block schedule yourself. So even at work for me in my calendar, like my Outlook calendar, I always block off time for like responding to emails and inserting the data that I need and pulling the reports that I need to pull and things like that. So that way it doesn't get forgotten or missed. I always have that time blocked off, but if I absolutely need to, I can always push and move that time around to accommodate other additional meetings or anything of that nature. So that is one way that I do love, because with this block scheduling again, or with the hourly scheduling, you have that block scheduling ability. So you could take, for example, this 12 o'clock slot, and you can just put lunch. And then for 1 o'clock, from 1 to 2, you could put that you're washing dishes and doing laundry. So that way you still see everything that you're doing, but you don't necessarily have to like put them in different sections. It's just, this is today, here's my hourly. Now, that doesn't leave you a lot of space to do other things. For example, like you wouldn't have space here to journal. You wouldn't have space here to add like decor stickers or anything like that. So again, it just varies on how you intend to plan and what you need that space for. Sometimes planners can be a little bit limiting. So sometimes I've heard people recommending like digital planners, and I love the concept of a digital planner, but for me personally, I'm very much attuned to wanting a physical planner. I have a collection of all of my previous planners, so it's very much something that I love doing, the pen to paper. And I love like looking back, like at the end of the year, I love to look back at the planner and see, what were my hardest months? What were my, biggest successes for the year? I do like midway check-ins for the year and just kind of give myself stats. Like, this is how many miles you've walked. This is how many miles you've hiked. This is how many times you've lifted weights, how many workouts you've done. how many books you've read, how many total pages I've read, which as of right now is over 10,000 pages. So I feel it helps me give myself a boost and like a recognition of this is what you've accomplished so far. Not that I'm done yet, but just that, hey, give yourself a pat on the back because that's awesome. I try to be a good cheerleader for myself, but you know, every now and again I do forget. Okay, I'm gonna move on to layout number 4. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Okay, for layout number 4, this one is kind of similar to this one, but if you look down here, this third box is divided into 2 different boxes. So on that first top box, I'm gonna label that one family. And when I say family, I mean family. So everything going on in my household that pertains to my family. So I'm going to put this one up here. And I am kind of putting these up a little bit high. Normally I would use a thinner box, but I couldn't find any that I really wanted to use for this. And then I just put in here day off, groomer, and then birthday. So those are just some things that typically come up in my household on a regular basis. The next box that I am going to put is going to be specific to my children. So I'm just going to write kids on that header. And when I say kids, I do in fact mean specific items that my children are doing that I am not. So for example, a big one here is play dates. My kids will go on play dates all the time. And depending on the exact scenario, I may or may not go with them. So if they're just going over to a friend's house that they've been over to previously and I've met their parents and have their contact info and all that good stuff, then I will allow them to go hang out without me being present. Unless the parents want me to stay, then I'll stay. I also put game day on here because my kids are also in extracurriculars and that always comes with some form of game or event or sometimes it's even award ceremonies. So all good stuff. And then the next section I'm going to use as my workout tracking section. And I thought this box fit, but it does not. But that's okay. A little bit outside the lines is not a big deal. So as some of you or most of you may know, I do try to get in a workout every single day. When I'm working out, I do try to log that information in my planner. I also use like an Apple Watch to log everything. So that's just one of those things that if that is a goal of yours, I find for me, writing it down, proving myself that I'm doing it and I'm keeping up with it is always a huge factor for me. And then the last section I am going to put is going to be meals. So you can track, like put your weekly dinners like on your sidebar, which is what I normally do in my Plan With Me's. But if you wanted to, you could also track breakfast, lunch, and dinner in your, oh no, that's dinner, not lunch. I know how to read, I promise. In your daily column, just so that, just so that you can track it. So, and this works one of 2 ways. So you can either write out your entire menu plan in advance. So if this was the layout that you were going to choose, you could put your menu plan down for each day at the bottom, or you could use it like a true tracker and track your meals as you eat them. So that way it's not like, oh, well, I plan to eat this, but I actually ate this. Either way, whichever works for you in what you're trying to achieve for the year. Okay, so again, that's a 4th layout option. And these boxes, these categories are super flexible. Anything that you need and or want to track can be tracked. And it does make a difference if it's like, if you're like memory keeping, like planning, like what I'm doing in my plan with me's every week. Or if it's literally just like, this is me trying to get through my day to day. So just depending on what it is you're looking for, that can make a difference. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to do is the fifth layout for the week. Well, this video, the week, whatever works. Okay, so the first section, the big one, is going to be home. So not family, but home. And I say home because I mean the entire home, the entire household. It basically is the same as family, but you can say home. In that top section, again, this is going to be the catch-all. It is going to include doctor's appointments. It's going to include work. It's going to include buying food for our pets, any to-do list items. Or, well, maybe not necessarily to-do list items, per se. Things that we need to get done. Things that fell on this day as just stuff that happened or is happening. The next box is going to be specific to... That's interesting. My pen just stopped working. No worries. I have plenty of pens. The next box is going to be specific to our goals. So, again, this one doesn't fit quite perfectly, but again, that is okay. So this is going to be where you're goal tracking. So those goals that you set at the beginning of the year, this is where you're going to be tracking those. So, i.e., if you worked on writing a portion of a book, you're going to put that in this box. If you are working on reading 300 books, you're going to put an update on that goal. Read a book or finished a book today, etc. Something along those lines. In that next space, I am going to add this little habit tracker. And for this box, it will be habit tracking. And then you'd be able to add whatever habit you're working on in there, and then check off the days as you do so, or the habits that you're struggling with, whatever you want to use that space for as far as your habits, what you're working on, what still needs to be worked on, what you think you have down, that type of information you could put there depending on the capacity that you'd like to use that box. And then the next box is going to be, I added reading. But again, it's interchangeable if you wanted to put self-care instead. And that's what I'm going to write, actually. Self-care. I can't tell you, as a mom of two and a wife and a full-time worker and an entrepreneur, I cannot describe to you just how much I have struggled to focus on self-care. So that is a big one for me, and this year I've put a huge emphasis on it. So again, these boxes can be manipulated to fit your life, because the best planning method, the best layouts, the best planner is really going to be determined by you. In the last box for this one, I am going to put this pay bill on sticker, because this is my box for finances. Now, again, the box is bigger than the sticker on this one, so you could add additional information, savings goal, or how much you added to your savings, the bills you paid, if you're on track, if you're sticking to your budget, those type of things. Excuse me. Again, whatever it is that relates to your finances and what your goals are for your finances, that is what you want to put here. Now, this sixth layout option. Okay, This one is a little bit different. This one has like the most added like mini boxes. I do this kind of layout kind of speaks more to me than a lot of the other ones, just because I like to have my stuff kind of more, I guess, divided. Okay, so for that first top box, we are going to do a me box. So right here, I'm just going to put this box and it says me, because this is going to be everything related to myself. So do I have work that day? Do I have the day off? Do I have a doctor's appointment? Do I have goals I need to work on? Am I going to be out of town for work? Or do I have errands I need to run or something like that? You could put anything in there. Again, so that would be me, my schedule. The next box is going to be, it says husband. You could say spouse. You could use their names. So again, does he have work? Does he have a doctor's appointment? Does he need to refill a prescription? That type of stuff. Now, naturally, the next box is going to be children, my kids, my little people. So do they have a sport activity? Do they have a friend's birthday party to go to? Do they have homework or projects that they need to work on? So all of that stuff I would put in here so that way I can help them make sure that they get their homework done, their project done, go pick up a gift for their friend, etc. The next box I'm going to put is going to be fitness, because that is a huge focus for me this year. I also have an additional sticker that I wanted to put in there, because part of fitness and working out is checking your weight. The next box I'm going to put in here is going to say budgeting, because again, I have to go through and make sure that all of the bills get paid. I have to make sure that nothing got missed, that everything went out the way it was supposed to. And then the last box that I'm going to put here is a to-do list box. Now, there's basically a to-do list every single day. I can't say that this box would be big enough for me to add my to-do list information, but some of these boxes don't necessarily need to be this large. But I just want you to see that these columns can definitely be changed to what fits you. You can make whatever sizing you want, excuse me, work inside this column. So it just depends on what all you need to put in there. Now for this last one, I did not add any extra lines, but the first item I'm going to start with is actually going to be on the bottom. And this is actually going to be the journal sticker. Excuse me. Okay, so that section, like I said earlier, for anyone who would want to journal or do some journaling, that might not be enough space, and that's totally okay. What I would do in that event, if it wasn't enough, is I would actually probably just leave it blank and then write in here. While it may not be straight and perfect, you could also take a pencil or something and add the lines yourself. On top of that, I would have this be a to-do list box, just because, again, there are nonstop to-do lists. And then everything else as far as my schedule would go up here in this top box. So if we had bills to pay and a workout and a doctor's appointment, I would just add those in right here. Maybe. And see, here we go. Right here, I can take this sticker and move it down a little bit to give myself enough room to throw in this little appointment. And I could have put that higher, but I didn't. But again, there are so many different ways that you can utilize these spreads to fit what you need. And you can even do a different layout every day if you wanted to. This might look a little bit chaotic, but there is also a lot of writing missing. But it's just whatever works for you, whatever helps you achieve the goals in the life that you want. That's what you want to stick with. I would say any time that you're going to try a new layout, probably give yourself at least a full week, maybe 2, to really try it out and fine tune it to see if it works for you. And then if it doesn't, just move on. Now, if you try it for, a day or 2 and it's just driving you insane, definitely just move on to a different one. You'll know pretty quickly if it works for you or not, based on what you achieve and what you don't, and how you feel at the end of each day and at the end of the week. If you feel stressed out or anxious seeing like a cluttered layout, then just reduce the number of stickers. Try not to over plan yourself, I guess is what it would be called. And give yourself space to really, self-care and relax, and know that if you don't get everything done in one day, it's okay. I have to remind myself of that all the time because I try to get everything done every day. But anywho, these are just some layout ideas. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what different layouts you guys use. I'd love to see them and check them out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a great time planning. Bye-bye.